Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This is a public hearing of the calendar year 2025 local municipal budget of the city of Orange Township held at City Council 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 at 6:07 p.m. Roll call. Councilmember Coley.
Present.
Councilmember Eason is absent. Councilmember Hilbert is absent. Councilmember Montague III.
Present.
Councilmember Ross.
Present.
Councilmember Summers Johnson is absent.
She's on her way.
Okay. And Council President Wooten.
Here.
Also present is Joyce Lanier, the city clerk, Laquana Best, the deputy business administrator.
Chris Hartwright is here.
Oh, Chris?
He's on his way.
Oh, okay. Chris Hartwike is on the computer. Derek Brown is absent. Blair? Here. Niall Clements is here. Gracia R. Montellis is a representative from the law department.
Aaron.
No?
Ms. Ray.
Aaron?
Aaron.
Oh, okay. Got you, Aaron Mizrazi. Niall Clements. Marlon G. Towns is here. Vincent Vidiello is absent. And Tricia Scipio, clerk's office. Let's have a moment of silence. Thank you. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 EDSEC Sunshine Law has been met. A public notice was sent to the Star Ledger, published in the record transcript, and on May 15, 2025, and posted on the bulletin board in City Hall and filed in the office of the city clerk. This is a public hearing for the calendar year 2025 local municipal budget. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second, Coley.
Motion by Councilmember Montague III, second by Councilmember Coley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The public hearing is now open.
Good evening. We're going to start off with a statement from our CFO, Mr. Niall Clement.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to give a brief summary. The public hearing tonight is on the 2025 introduced budget. That budget totals $93,428,138, which includes $3,589,567 in grants. The major changes in the 2025 budget, there was a decrease in miscellaneous revenue of $1,461,125. There was an increase of appropriations of $625,861. The difference of those totals is the new amount to be raised by taxation, which is an increase of $2,086,986. Percentage-wise, there's a 3.18% increase in the amount to be raised by taxation from the prior year. And as far as dollar value-wise, that is an average of $381. It's a $381 increase on homes assessed at $315,000. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Eason arrived at 6:10 p.m. Before opening this hearing, I wish to outline the procedure. Each person desiring to be heard will rise and give his or her name and address before speaking. I will recognize one speaker at a time in order of rising as nearly as I can determine. Address all questions to the chair. When necessary, they will be referred to the individual members of the governing body, municipal officials, or advisors. Questions must be confined solely to the calendar year 2025 local municipal budget before us. School or county matters are not proper subjects for this hearing and cannot be discussed or answered here this evening. The budget consultant, do you have any comments?
I don't have anything to add to what the CFO said.
Thank you. Council President? So now this, let's see, do we have enough? So this hearing is now open for the calendar year 2025 municipal budget.
Do we have anyone from the public who would like to speak? Ms. Rodriguez,
Just come up to the mic.
you come up to the mic. 5 minutes.
I don't really have a lot because I missed the last 2 meetings, so one of my main questions was just in regards to the salaries. Did you guys know if any of the salaries increased at all? And if so, did you guys consider, how do I put that into words? If we laid off over a dozen people, how do we justify giving people raises, I guess, basically? So the question is, were there raises in the budget for salaries? Because it wasn't very obvious in the paper.
Okay. Is that your
Yes.
only? Is that your only question, Ms. Rodriguez?
No,
Okay. Did you want to get all your questions and get your answers, or?
no, because
Okay.
sometimes they get lost.
All right, Mr. CFO.
To answer your question, yes, there were increases in salary and wages in the 2025 budget.
Is there some kind of scale that would say, well, this is, how do we make that make sense if we laid off so many people?
The increases that I'm familiar with were contractual mandates for cost of living adjustments for salary and wages.
Are they necessary?
They're contractual.
Attorney, Ms. Rahid?
So, the city is subject to a number of collective bargaining agreements with a number of unions. When a union negotiates a pay increase, a yearly pay increase, the city's bound to it. We cannot, freeze a pay increase without negotiating with the union. That is part of something that we are negotiating with these unions, with the city's union, as part of this budget process. But at this time, none of the unions have agreed to a pay freeze.
So everyone that works for the salaries increases in a union, every single person, they got an increase.
That's correct.
Okay. But technically it is negotiable and because you said you haven't finalized it yet.
Well, it's negotiable, but the union has to be willing to negotiate.
Are
so.
we trying to negotiate otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we're making best efforts to negotiate with each one of the unions, and we're hopeful that we can reach some sort of agreement with them.
Okay. For the police department, you guys said they need a new desk, computers. I think it was a pretty large amount. Did we figure out did somebody do a walkthrough and validate that these are necessary things? I think it was like 1.2 million for it. I don't see, new desk as an urgency. I'm not sure. There was also things for technology. And I believe last year, maybe September, we had a council meeting where there was some kind of big purchase by them for technology, saying they had to upgrade their system. So why are we upgrading our systems? Is it an every year thing?
In regards to the overall police budget for their O&E, it's flat in comparison to the 2024 budget. So the amount in the introduced budget is $400,340, which is the exact same amount that was in the adopted budget.
And I understand, but you also have to take into consideration we let go of a lot of people. And so now that should have brought that budget down, but it didn't. So in reality, that money was allocated somewhere else, so it technically still goes up. If we're looking at it as those salaries were included in last year's budget, we let go over 12 or whatever it was people, so then that budget must have gone down. So technically it went up.
Excuse me, Ms. Rodriguez, we haven't laid anyone off as of yet. No one has been laid off yet.
Okay, well,
Okay.
sorry. I was just the way it was depicted, and I'm
Oh,
thinking, is it gonna happen within this calendar year?
We're not, that's a message for either the attorney's office or the CFO.
I would defer to the business administrator to answer that question. But just in regards to your question, I think you're mixing salary and wages with O&E. So O&E is what you use for technology, office materials and supplies. That's professional services. And then salary and wages are just that, salary and wages, overtime, if there's like an education stipend or a detective stipend. But nothing is budgeted over $1 million for police, for O&E at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mr. B.A.?
I didn't hear the question, if it could be repeated.
Could you repeat the last question, please?
What was the last question? I just lost it.
She asked if anyone was being laid off and when that would
Oh,
occur.
it was happening this year.
Was it happening this year?
So the budget as introduced does not currently include any layoffs. It includes a salary deferral. Whether or not there will be any layoffs is currently the subject of negotiations and ongoing budget discussions. And at this point, I can't give you an answer as to whether or not anyone will be laid off this year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I think that was, oh, no, yeah, the other one's for student council. I'm good, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? From the public?
Motion to close?
Motion Coley.
Second, Montague.
Motion by Councilmember Coley, second by Councilmember Montague the third. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there anyone from the CBAC here?
Council President, the
Councilwoman
CBAC was on, no one from the CBAC was able to make it. They were supposed to send their recommendations to the clerk's office early this morning, but Trish just went and she doesn't have them. So I have to follow up to see what happened. But they knew they weren't gonna be here, so they were gonna send it over so we could review it.
Okay, thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Ross.
Second, Montague.
Motion to adjourn by Councilmember Ross, second by Councilmember Montague third. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned at 6:18.